Hey everybody, welcome back to the Caves Cast podcast. It's been a few weeks. Um, Life happens, and this is just something for fun that we do. And you know what? It is what it is. I'm Jeremy,
I'm right.
and we're back.
Yep.
And we're gonna just kick it off with some news. We have some sad news today.
Yeah.
Peter David passed away.
Man.
Writer of Aquaman, Spider-Man 2099, Hulk, um, She-Hulk. He's been in the game for a long time, man.
Yeah, he's a legend.
But
He's
yeah,
been
he passed
70s,
away.
70s, 80s,
68.
60s, 80s.
68, yeah. And then his wife posted on social media that he had passed away last night. Um, or I guess now it would be 2 nights ago.
Well, he's been having a lot of health issues. We've been seeing that. He's been having a lot of GoFundMe's and stuff. It just
Right.
looks like,
I mean, it just sucks, man, because it seems like we're losing legend after legend after legend.
just,
I mean, they are all getting older, but also at like 68 doesn't really seem that old.
it's not. It's not.
So it's a shame to lose somebody like him, especially because he's made such an impact in
Oh,
the comic book world. So condolences to his wife and anybody else close to Peter Dave.
yeah. Rest in peace. And
Yes. But then we also, so moving on to, I guess, better news, at
Mhm.
least I think so. Thor is, I guess, I don't know. I'm not necessarily happy that Immortal Thor is ending, but I am happy that Ewing is continuing his run, and it will be starting up again in August with Thor #1. So the solicitation reads, the Norse myths tell of gods who walk the earth, doing great deeds for the mortals who believed in them, but Asgard isn't real and never was. The gods never soared in our skies, never stood with our heroes, never fought for kindness or justice. It was all just a story. Nobody's coming to help us. But somewhere in the city, a man is waking up. A man with a hammer.
So Donald Blake.
I don't know, or it could be Sigurd when he was in William or in Simonson's run when
Well, I'm
he
just saying, we
was
haven't seen
back on
Donald
Earth.
Blake in Immortal Thor yet.
Huh?
We haven't seen Donald Blake at all in Immortal Thor yet,
He's
right?
shown up a couple times. He showed up in the when Thor went to where the hell was he? Oh, it was when he had like when the Midgard gods they turned him into stone and they like cracked him into pieces and he
Mhm.
went to that like
Oh, yeah.
pocket dimension
Mhm.
and he was speaking to Blake there.
Okay.
But I think Blake showed up one at a time. I think I don't remember what issue exactly, but yeah. So he showed up a couple times in the last like in this run, but I maybe, but as right now, Blake is like kind of bonded with a symbiote. So we'll see what happens. But Alex Ross is doing covers again. It looks like so good stuff, dude. I'm excited.
Can't wait.
I don't really know much else that's been revealed about it.
As long as it's Al
Mhm.
Ewing doing it, and who's the artist again? Because that was exciting.
Okay, yeah. So it's a new artist, and it'll be Pascal Ferry.
Oh my God, that's gonna
Yeah,
be
it's gonna
yeah,
be good stuff, dude. I love Pascal Ferry.
that's
So
gonna be
like, and I guess it's like a little thing from Al Ewing right here. It says, since the very first issue of Immortal Thor, Thor has been facing the end of his tale, but that was only the end of Act 1, Ewing explained. As the next chapter begins, Thor must face threats he's never faced from a place he's never been until now. Is he alive? Is he dead? Is he immortal? Or much, much more? You'll have to join us to find out. So and I don't even know where this would go, other than it kind of seems like Thor's like kind of ascending to a new level of existence, and maybe not necessarily maybe Mjolnir is being passed to someone else.
again.
And you're right. And you maybe, I don't know. It seems kind of silly to introduce Magni, but to also not have him, you kind of be the natural successor and wield the hammer and all that stuff. So maybe they're going the route of,
But Amora wants that, so
yes, but it also, shot in the dark. Maybe it's kind of like a twist on the Thor's origin, but it's Magni and who whoever the human version of him is.
okay.
Like I don't know. So and maybe there is still the
That'd be cool.
And it would make sense because he's not even from this timeline. He's not from this Earth, technically. So if he's not from this Earth, whatever would happen to the Asgardians here, if they're not real and never existed, it shouldn't affect him, right? And if
True.
it doesn't affect him, in turn, what if it just turned him into a human? But it also gave, you know what I mean? Like maybe it's a Thor failsafe because there's already precedent for the Allfather doing sneaky shit anyway because Odin has a back door into out of Valhalla to people to return people to the living.
Right.
And he's done a million other shady things. So it's not impossible for Thor to maybe rig it like a dead man switch. So when he dies, some kind of enchantment similar to the one that Odin put on him when in Journey 83, like when it was Donald and him, as like a failsafe in case something happened to him.
Okay.
And this, like I said, it's a total shot in the dark, but I think that would be a really cool premise, is you have like a reboot of sorts with Magni, and he is a Donald Blake style character,
Right.
and he's waking up because he's the only one left because he didn't the spell or whatever kills Thor and ends the gods doesn't affect him in the same way
Right.
or makes him forget who he was. Like it could be any number of things. Maybe there is no double persona and he is just Magni, but he forgot, and it's more like Ultimate Thor from Hickman in the original Ultimate Universe when he has to remember that he was the god and not just a person.
Okay.
Which will be even cooler because then you have Ewing pulling from even more Thor content that isn't even main continuity.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's like a wild take, and I that kind of just came out. I was
I'm
thinking about it,
excited
but
because I know it's going to be some wild stuff with Loki.
I love it, dude. It's great.
It's
I
going to
love
be
it too.
some wild, wild stuff, dude. So
Yeah.
I'm stoked.
I guess on that note, do we want to start with,
With Thor? Yeah.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
already on it.
Yeah, it was
Since we're
great.
already on the topic, dude, great issue, bro.
Yeah.
I the covers are just so crazy, man. Alex Ross is just
Oh, I know, dude.
killing these covers, dude. So it picks up where the last issue left off. Another page from Ewing. To be lower than a worm is to be higher than a king. From the atheist tragedy, side road turning. I don't know how you say that last name, but whatever. I probably butchered it. It opens up with we learn about Cameron,
Yeah, the
and he
Demiurge
is
and
like, basically it says like, in the primal time during the God War, essentially, like the Demiurge like created all these entities, the Elder Gods. And then one of them was like of dark power and chaos. And it was like, the way that Ewing writes it is very like poetic, and prosy kind of. One was chaos and dark power. One was the wisdom of a long winter. One was the very joy and horror of life itself. Why would there not be one who was king? During the God War, he was like basically just the concept of being a king.
right.
And like this symbology horns bulls because he looks like a tail and he's like a minotaur. And it just goes on to say that like basically every being during this time bowed to him because he was the concept of kingship of a ruler, and except one, which we know from earlier on in this run when the God War was happening. Gaia had approached the Demiurge and said, "I need you to create something that can end this because we need to change. Like this cycle of war and destruction needs to stop." So a tomb gets created, and he ends up fighting Kemmer. Is was kind of what it seems like. They face off essentially, and then we back to present time with Thor and Hermod and Scourge.
Mhm.
Uh, Man, Kemmer just towers over them, dude.
Yeah.
He's huge, and then he's holding Heimdall by the chain. And Thor's first move is to like he signals Hermod to basically make a break for it, and he cuts Heimdall down. It's kind of just trying to control his surroundings so he can just focus on the fight. Right off the bat. Focus on that, and everybody else he can hard. Pretty much most. fighting. That's but he and Hermod, but they're not really the way that his axe works is, if it doesn't defeat his opponent or keep drawing their blood, then it's so he's at risk of dying again. Get to complete whatever task he was trying to do and still Thor's death. So if he just ends up dying for no reason, he's going to be pretty pissed.
Right.
He's not going anywhere after this either because that backdoor out of Valhalla was his last chance. And Odin told him, like, there's no coming back. Like, if you die again, you're going to play after this. He basically ceased to exist. So, um, yeah, I mean, the most of the issue is just him fighting, and there's a lot of like inner monologue with Thor, and he's struggling with trying to figure out how to like defeat him. But he has something interesting here, and I didn't realize this was going to be a thing. But he takes the belt that he fashioned out of Zeus's power, and he turns it into like a nose ring,
Yeah.
like a bull's nose ring,
Yeah.
and he just like swings a hammer and hauls at him and just slides it right through his nose. And then we back into the
Yeah. That's
because this is like the first time he's been hurt in like in a millennia, so it brings him the memory of when he fought a tomb
right.
and he turned tail and ran, and it was like an embarrassing thing for him. So for him to be hurt again after so long, I'm sure it's probably like a big thing, like a big blow to his ego.
Right.
So and he leads the other two, and they start battling uh Kemmer. And then here at the end, just as they're getting ready to like they're all three ganging up on him, Loki comes in.
Right.
And it's just piggybacks. I mean, yes, because Loki was exiled by Thor during the whole battle with Zeus, everything.
Right. But
But
he's
then
basically
before
he's
that,
basically hinting now that he was there the whole he's been here the whole time.
yes, I mean, which we know because in Doctor Strange of Asgard, One World Under Doom tie-in,
Oh, okay. I haven't
Loki
been
is
reading.
already back in Asgard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's Loki's already back in Asgard, and he's been like, but Thor doesn't know.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he's been sneaky around Thor. But so like interesting enough, it also picks up from the end of Defenders Beyond because Loki has the Eternity Mask, but he turned it into the other horn of his helmet or of his like headpiece.
Oh, okay.
So he takes it off, he cracks it off, and then turns it into an arrow and fires it right at Kimmer, then
Okay.
killing him. And so he Thor's like, what happened? And Loki off panel is like, hey, like I did it. And then he's all like, I've been here the whole time. Like, let's go so we can get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Um, Great issue. Like, there's only two issues left in this run, or I guess in this first half. But
Right.
God, it's so good. It's just so good.
It is. It's a lot of fun.
I at this point I'm just looking forward to see what the next two issues are going to be about, like the fights, I guess, and what's going to actually end Thor, and then what'll bring him back when it relaunches in August.
Right.
Very curious to see. And I'm gonna be so screwed with all those covers, man.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
now
about to love
it's gonna be, sure he never disappoints. So
it. Yes, sir. Alex Ross is gonna be doing the cover. You're gonna have a Pascal Ferry variant. I could just pull up all the variants right here. Like right here. Here's like even the Casada one isn't too bad.
I like
But yeah,
the design. Like I love the
yeah, the classic look is just the best. Yeah,
yeah.
you got the Alex Ross main cover. You've got a variant by J. Scott Campbell. You've got a Joe Quesada variant. You got David Marquez variant. You've got Jeffrey Brown. You've got another Pascal Ferry variant. You've got a foil variant by Pat Gleason, and then you've got the blank.
Ooh,
So,
Pat Gleason. I haven't seen him in a while.
yeah, he's still been doing stuff, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's
more
good.
independent stuff, right?
Huh?
More independent stuff.
I think so, but he's also been doing Spider-Man covers a lot,
Oh,
and I
okay.
think he's still been doing Spider-Man interiors here and there. What's next? What do you want to have next?
Well, we don't gotta go too deep into we don't gotta go deep into it, but this was awesome.
Oh,
Did you read it?
I did.
It was
I forgot
awesome.
about Dark Island. It
I
was really good, man.
I
Oh,
thought like the way everything ended up coming together was really cool. Like,
yes.
this was such a cool way to like utilize, you know, and it's funny too because it's like they're like because it's like I was like, damn, they really cut off like dude's tongue, and then it's like, oh no, he had it in the freezer and like ice, so it's like, oh,
Huh.
like
I
cut that.
just like how it was.
So it's like cool. It
It
like
like
it put
I
everything.
wasn't. I just wasn't expecting this like kind of like relationship between Wesker and this lady that kind
Yeah,
of took on, after him.
right.
Because like I don't know what I was expecting. You know what I mean? Like I kind of thought maybe they were just crazy, but like it seems like there was a bit of like a kinship there, and so
Well,
like
that's what I mean. I
she
feel
just
like
carried on his legacy.
the animated series did it so well where like it makes you wonder like if Scarface is actually,
Real or not?
like yeah, like is
Yeah.
it's like a talking doll because like it really plays with your head, and I feel like Dan Waters like nailed that too to make it feel like
Yes.
like Scarface is like something way bigger than what we think he is. Like he's actually, you know what I mean? It keeps you. I don't know. I feel like that's the best way to write Scarface, and I feel like Dan
I
Waters.
really just like yeah. No, it's and it really carries a supernatural as not even supernatural, I guess, kind of like the thriller aspect of it, because you have all these people that have just been like I don't even want to say brainwashed, but they've kind of been like misled by this strange voice of the tower, and when in reality it was just a rogue.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's I
But it's a cool
like
idea
it,
of
and like
like
you get this scene at the
what happens when Albert Wesker, Arnold Wesker, or Albert Wesker, whatever.
Arnold Wesker, yeah.
uh, it's funny to
Dan
like
Waters was
see,
was they had Resident Evil on the brain that day.
yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like it's a cool idea to see like what happens when his tongue is taken out and he's not the one voicing Scarface anymore, and like it's like Rogue,
Right.
like it's such a cool idea, and like the whole tower basically is Scarface, and it's like I don't know, I mean, this is definitely gonna be like the best Scarface story I think so far. Not many
I
people
mean, yeah, unless
besides
somebody
like
else says
Paul
something
Dini.
else, you know what I mean? But
Nobody's really touched
yeah,
Scarface
no,
besides
right.
Paul
But
Dini.
I really like this page with Wesker standing like in the middle of the tower,
Mhm.
and it's a big puff of smoke, and it's Scarface's face in the
Yeah,
smoke. I thought that was really cool.
yeah.
But yeah, it was, I don't know. I really like this book, dude.
It's so fire.
This book is really good.
I'm
And it's
just
just like I'm excited to see what's next.
yeah.
It's gonna be good
Yeah,
stuff.
because this is just like this was like this feels so like satisfying for a three-part story. Like it just felt like
Yes. And the fact that they're all gonna be three parts, it's just glorious, dude.
yeah, I feel like they've nailed the pacing and
Yes, they did.
especially to tell a story in three books instead of like having like four books
Well,
with the stories trimmed down to three, like because that happens a lot more than
yes, it
like to
happens
see
too much.
somebody like actually like
Right.
it's great. This is still the best Batman book on the shelves, and
Yes, sir. All
can't wait to see.
right. Well, you want to transition into Absolute Batman?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, this was crazy.
Dude, seriously.
Yeah, so I mean, what do you feel like? How do you feel about ancient ice virus, Mr. Freeze here?
It's kind of weird, but I don't know. It's cool.
My favorite moment in this though was like the Killer Croc like beating some sense into Bruce. Like I really like
Yes.
that moment. Like
Well, okay, like I get, yeah, I would say I guess the Wayland stuff is the most interesting part because it like it really drives home the point that they really are all like really just good friends.
Hmm.
And they're just looking out for Bruce, but he's being so secretive and he's being so like,
Bruce.
like dangerous that they just don't want to see him end up like matches.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see like if, and I'm sure when, some of them turn heel and they become like more like their main universe counterparts. Like, what does that relationship look like with them? Because that's what I think that's my favorite part of this book is just seeing how it's gonna all like unravel with them because it all
Yeah.
seems so close. And then when they probably realize that Bruce is choosing this life over his friends, they're like, fine, like that's fine. Like then we'll choose something else too.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know. Like I still
yeah.
think it's gonna be where like some of them become rogues and then some of them stay his like best
Oh
friend.
yeah, no, for sure.
Did you see the announcement that Scott Snyder said about and Nick Dragata said about Selena, how she's gonna be? They said she's gonna
I
be
heard that she's gonna
Ethan Hunt mixed with John Wick,
be like badass.
like Black Widow type, fucking. I guess
Okay, that'd be cool. I can see that being a thing.
like Black
I really
Widow.
like the art
Yeah.
in this issue. Art was great.
Yeah, this art was really cool. I really like that page of Batman and that splash page, basically that this one. I
No,
love this. It's like
yeah,
a
I was just about
homage to
to.
Dark Knight Returns, of course, but
Yeah,
it's still cool. I mean, Scott Snyder can't help himself. He always does that. He always does homages to Dark Knight Returns. Um, I really like I don't know. I feel like the matches thing just felt like shoehorned
well,
in there. Like they didn't
well,
really
okay,
lean towards
and
man.
I don't remember. Was it you that said it
What?
when they introduced matches last issue, and you were saying like it's he's got to be the one that Thomas went back for.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that is
I
the
mean,
case.
clearly it is, but
Yeah.
like that, and that really seemed like the only way to fit it in.
Hmm.
But like, I don't know. I guess it kind if you just look at it from the perspective like he was just used as the vehicle to get Bruce into Arkham. Not it doesn't mean anything more than that. Like his survivor's guilt from basically being the reason that Thomas dies, it just serves as like kind of like the full circle moment for matches when he's like, okay, like I can do this for Bruce because you know I kind of feel responsible for what happened.
Right.
So I don't know. I think it's fine. I don't think it needs to be anything more than what it is. I think matches can stay dead unless they do something with the character, like and make him a villain. And he comes back later, but I that would be kind of like a cliche.
Yeah.
You know, dead villain. It could be really just a bad cliche.
Uh,
Whatever. I
I
like the
don't know.
colors in this issue are really great though.
Yeah, they are. They're really good.
I just keep gawking at the art, dude, because it's just so cool. Marcos Martin is great.
Yeah.
But then it kind of ends with somebody getting kidnapped.
Yeah, man. It looks like Waylon after talking some sense into Bruce.
Do you think
Let me
he's
go
gonna
back to
become
that.
like they're gonna send him to Arkham? Do you think he'll become actually Killer Croc?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're gonna
Damn,
experiment on
dude.
him. I think they're gonna
Yeah.
experiment on him and shit.
Oh,
And
for sure. That sucks, but we'll see what happens.
I think a lot of people are. I think a lot of his. I think
Yeah,
Croc isn't going to be the only one of his friends getting snatched up. Yeah,
oh no, for sure. They're probably gonna kidnap most of them.
yeah,
Yeah, it continues to be a good book. I mean, I feel like I like each issue the same.
yeah,
Like every month it's a consistent read. It's fine. I have no complaints. I'm just waiting for like a big like, oh my God.
yeah. Well, next we got Bane. So
Dude, Abomination starts. What Dragata and Snyder are calling the arc. Abomination.
okay. Well, I'm just stoked for more Dragata art. I feel like he
Yep.
really nails this. But like he really nails the feel for the series for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do love this artist in this. He's great, and I think he does a great job. But like, I just love Nick Dragata's style for it. Like, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I've
I
grown
know.
accustomed to it that I just really love that.
East of West, I can talk about it all day long, but I won't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
But you want to do?
Absolute Superman.
Oh yeah, dude.
Uh,
The Brainiac.
Oh, Brainiac's freaky, dude. Just opens up with the Omega Men doing a little recon or like busted up mission. And then they start getting fried, dude. Just like right out of their suits.
Yeah.
One dude starts puking up his bone. The other guy just turns to straight up skin and meat, just
Yeah.
muscle tissue, nothing else. And Brainiac just keeps working these dudes. And then he comes out after getting them all. And he
Yeah.
looks scary, man.
Dude, he's horrifying. And not even that, just like how temperamental he is, and it's just like, this is a Brainiac that's like,
Yeah, because like you get his whole backstory, like because he's like prodding around in this dude's brain that he left alive.
yeah.
Which like I'm now that I'm looking at this again, it's like he's really just kind of like ruined this guy. Like
Yeah,
his
he's
hand
just
is
kind of just like
massive.
doing things, just doing
Yeah,
things.
he's just like just do like he and it's like Brainiac at least has always been like very meticulous. He's very like well thought out. But this Brainiac is the opposite. He's like just this weird, eccentric, mad, crackpot scientist like version of Brainiac.
Yeah, and he
And
says
he
he's
just like
like more of a
he's like
tinkerer. He says I tend to tinker
yes.
when I feel anxious, so I just
Yeah,
tinker.
he's just like a weirdo. And so he's
Yeah.
just doing weird shit to all of his victims.
Yeah, dude. And then he even like smashes like a whole shrunk city.
And this Brainiac does it for literally for the love of the game. He
Yeah.
says, I just like doing weird stuff to people. I'm gonna do weird stuff to your brain. Which is like, all
Yeah.
right, man, like chill out a little bit.
Well, he's trying to understand his brain. He basically says
Yeah,
like he's trying to carve out the offending parts of his brain. So I think that's what he's trying to do on other people while he's doing it to himself.
right, because you still have this idea where like he also has this idea where he can use the human brain to store knowledge that he can't store in his own. It's kind of what it seems
Yeah.
like, right?
Yeah.
So it gives him basically like an endless, the more people he kills, the more brains he harvests. It gives him like basically an endless library of knowledge.
Right. Because he was born basically with zero intellect.
So
Like he was made with zero intellect, basically.
exactly, exactly. And because he was made originally just to be basically a corpse cleaner.
Yeah.
He scoops up the bodies and throws them in the incinerator or whatever. But he does it so many times it begins to twist him at his core. He
Right.
does it for thousands of days, basically.
Yeah.
And then he finally like 13,000 days, 49,000 days. And then he
Yeah.
finally, after like 50,000 days, which is I don't even know how many years that is. Let's see. Let's do the 41,000. Dude, that's 100 years, man. Like 112 years. So over 100 years, he's stuck doing the same damn thing. And he's literally just like he just started out as like he was not intelligent at all. But then, you know, time goes on. Some of them are still alive. Some of he begins to sympathize with them. He begins to kind of create his own like crew underneath,
Hmm.
and then he only to then get rid of them all and bust his way out.
Right.
But it's just how like he's so warped because of being stuck here that he's just God, he's so messed up. It's
Yeah.
gross.
It's crazy. And
And then
he ends up getting the basically dead dude's connections and ends up talking to the Brainiac Collective. And they,
oh yeah, because the Prime Brainiac or whatever Brainiac One is what he called him, right?
yeah.
And then he's like, oh, like he's dead because it's been so long. But then
Right.
Brainiac's like, I'm the only one left,
So he contacts like the Brainiac Collective about like Superman.
dude.
He's been obsessed with Superman.
This panel gets me, bro.
Dude, right? Like
This
it's like
is
almost
that's
Green Goblin-ish. It's like
that's going on the thumbnail for sure.
that's like so like Green Goblin like feels like.
It is. It's so spooky, man. Because
Yeah.
like, and he's having like a meltdown, like in the middle of all this.
Yeah.
Like the panel above it, he's like grimacing. Hold on. He's like grimacing. He's like in pain. And then the next one, he's like giving this freaky smile.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Um,
basically he talks to the Brainiac Collective and they end up telling him that
yeah,
basically
because he's kind of like they don't really know that he's around.
no.
Huh.
They probably think he's that other dude.
So they're like, who the hell are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, who are you? Because, you know, that's crazy.
So like yeah, so basically he ends up getting basically the recipe to make synthetic kryptonite.
Yeah. I was just say
Huh.
because the brain, like, yeah, because he learns about, he kind of informs them about Krypton, and they're like, we don't know anything about it. And then one person's like, well, I do,
Yeah.
and here's what I know. Here's something that can help you. So yeah, he synthesizes kryptonite.
Yep.
So I think it's a cool origin for kryptonite. Like it ties Brainiac into it really well.
I
I,
think it's going to
people
be
keep
something. I think it's going to be, since it's a different universe, it's going to be, and it's synthetic. I think it's going to do something different to Clark or to Cal. I think it's going to do something
could
different.
be.
You know,
I also had this idea maybe Ra's al Ghul is not the main antagonist for this book. Maybe it is Brainiac.
it probably is going to be.
Because I could easily see them doing like a red herring, like, oh, they kill Ra's al Ghul like at some point in it, and it turns into Brainiac is really the one who kind of is the mastermind behind everything.
Yeah,
It could be cool.
it could be. But what do you think about
Could
this
be cool.
final page here?
Oh, with him turning the Peacemaker into,
Is he?
or I mean, what is he turning him into? That's the thing.
I'm thinking it's Metallo.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
I think it's Metallo because now he's got synthetic kryptonite and he's going to put it in him.
That's a good idea. I didn't think about that. And like it kind of looks that way because when he has him strapped down to the table, yeah, I think you're
And
right.
look at like the
I
gun.
think he's gonna.
Like look at the gun like that he gives him down there. It's like a kryptonite gun already with kryptonite bullets. Like in the
Oh, you're right. But it kind of, do you think it might be more so like he kind of looks like a peacemaker, but he is just like
Yeah.
Metallo in spirit, I guess.
Yeah, I think
And
so.
maybe he has the code name,
Hmm.
like send in Agent Metallo, and it's literally just Christopher Smith, who used to be a peacemaker, but he kind of looks like a metal peacemaker,
Yeah.
which would kind of be on brand for this because it seems like the police force around the world with Lazarus are all peacemakers.
Right.
So I don't know. Could work. It could work. I can see that being the case. That's cool. I like it.
Yeah. Um, it's just weird that this is called Son of the Demon. It's making a lot of people have conspiracies, and a lot of people are trying to say that Jor-El could be Ra's al Ghul
Ooh.
or Zod.
I could get down with Zod being race.
Yeah, but it's just
Get down with that. I think I would prefer
Superman,
that.
Son of the Demon, and that's
Which would
just
make sense because I remember we even talked about Zod in the beginning, like after the first issue. I was like, what? I'm like, what would they do with Zod? What better way to make him like a powerful player on Earth? He's already established. He has a lot of influence in the military, economically, politically, socially, all that stuff. So it works.
yeah,
You don't have to go into his abilities as a Kryptonian. He has so much power and influence on Earth, he doesn't even need to use them.
right.
That could be cool.
I'm excited to see who Ra's al Ghul is because I don't think he's Ra's al Ghul. I think he's going to end up being a Kryptonian
Yeah,
at least.
I can see that. We got what? Absolute Green Lantern next.
Yeah, dude, what'd you think about this one?
Good stuff, dude. This
Yeah,
book is
man.
good. It opens up with another little tidbit from the Black. Uh, I don't even know if it's the Black Hand because it just seems like it's just like this entity
Yeah.
coming from Lantern.
It's trying to like be Necron, or is it like,
I don't know. It just has this very like ominous, like sentient. I mean, clearly it's sentient. We just don't know what it is, what the Green Lantern is, what this whole like, being without fear, existing at this certain level of light, all these things. We don't know anything about that yet.
yeah,
But it opens up with like Joe being in the bar or the restaurant where Hal kind of just Black Hand cut loose, and he explained to her like, I'm trying really hard to control it, but no matter what I do, it's like hungry. It's like it's alive. And he's talking about like, we don't know what happened. Like we don't know what happened to Guy. We don't know what happened with Abin Sur. We don't know anything yet. Like we're still trying to figure it out. So then it jumps back to like when Abin Sur landed on Earth with the Green Lantern. And of course, right out the jump, we learn that guy is a police officer, and he
Yes.
draws his gun, but he's able to be quelled and calm down. He's a Joe. Because it appears that they were married, I think. It's kind of that's what it kind of
Yeah.
seems like. Um, but then, it just kind of flashes back and forth between like the events of that day and then like Joe and Hal talking in the restaurant and then just having Sir blasting guy anyway. Didn't even give him like too much of a second chance.
Yeah, that was a bummer to see.
And then you have like everybody cracking off and they're all just bullets are flying, people are dying. And Evanser's like, this is the vibe he puts off is like this is just like senseless violence. Like he knows his purpose, but these small-minded beings don't know
Right.
it. So it's
Because
for him, it's like, why are you just
he's
doing
just
it?
judging people. That's
Right. And this feels like very much like a manga or like a DB, like a
yeah,
Dragon
dude.
Ball kind of like
Yeah, it's like
so sick, dude.
yeah,
I love that design.
yeah, I love the art for this. And I love this like panel work right here where he like decapitates the person. Like, did you see that? Like that panel?
Yes, it's
That panel
crazy, dude.
that panel work is sick.
Just
Using like the panel
yeah, just all three
as
across.
as the strike, like using the panel like break as a strike. That's
Yes, it's clever.
yeah,
Uh,
that's so
and
cool.
then just like yeah, and then they just keep going on the events of that day and how like they're all being judged and how Hal has like the gun in his hand still. It's like kind of like merged with him,
Yeah.
and it's become like okay. So here's kind of how I maybe am seeing things. The whatever level of light that they exist at, or whatever they're being like, whatever power is being bestowed on them, I think it's being focused in an object. Very clearly, Joe's ring. But in this case, it seems to be the gun that Hal was holding. So, what does that mean for John? Like, what was John? John isn't holding anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the only object on him is his glasses. That sounds stupid, but if that's like the going, like if that's what this is,
No, well, if you see the
um,
front page, it's
right. But then if Guy is alive and he becomes a Green Lantern later on, what would
yeah,
his maybe? Maybe it could be something that's like very symbolic to them. Like in this instance, Hal was willing to put the bullet through Abin Sur even though they had tried it and it failed. He was like a last stand.
right.
And so like maybe that courage or whatever was like, okay, like this will be your kind of like your catalyst, I guess, for using these abilities rather than it being like you have the ring and it's just only a ring. It's more so like the Green Lantern is just like bestowing the ability to do these things on the object and not necessarily the wielder.
Right.
So, and if that's the case, you could have these objects getting into the wrong hands.
Yeah. Well, it just
Could be
seems
interesting.
like
I don't know. It's like
This Hal is very full of fear. This Hal is very freaked out, you know.
yeah, yeah.
So
And I don't know. Like most, I'm sure some people are like, "Ew, Hal Jordan is not like this best ring slinger in the galaxy." It's like give it a chance. I think it could be really good.
I Al Ewing's not gonna mess the characters up.
No,
So let's
confident, dude.
yeah, like he's you know,
Confident.
so like
Yeah.
I trust him. I know he's not gonna like mess up the character of Hal. Like something awesome
Right.
come out of it.
It's good stuff, dude. I love it.
I'm loving it so far. Great stuff. What do you want to talk about
Uh,
next?
Ultimate Wolverine, dude.
Yeah, dude, this was dope.
It was
We
really
finally
good.
get like a character focused issue on somebody, and we get it for Sabretooth, and this Sabretooth is awesome. We get to see him
Yes.
like a wholesome, good dude at a lot of times, you know?
Yeah, he's just like trying to take care of people, man. I like it
I like it a
because it's
lot. I like it a
it's a
lot.
way different twist than what we're used to with Sabretooth.
Yeah.
And it opens up with him like he has his bar and he's just he's also looking out for the what do they call him in 616?
The
The
what?
mutants that are kind of like
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about, right?
mhm.
The Morlocks.
Yeah.
That's what they are. The people that like the monstrous looking mutants. So it's
Mm.
kind of like a couple Morlock kids. It's kind of what it seems like. Um, so Sabretooth is taking care of them, and he tells him to book it, like he's feeding them, and then somebody, he hears or he senses something is coming,
Yeah.
and sure enough, it's Wolverine.
Yeah, Wolverine's outside waiting for him when he takes out the trash.
Yep. And then so Sabretooth said, "That's fine. I'm about to take out the trash anyway, so I'll take you out too."
Yeah.
So they start brawling. Wolverine just cuts his arm off like pretty quick.
Yeah. But
And it's cool because
healing
it's
factors and.
yeah, I like this because it does have your classic like Wolverine versus Sabretooth flair to it with them like brawling it out.
Yeah.
You get all the story and the history between them and how it's not like 616 and how they very much are like brothers and they care about
Yeah.
each other and they're looking out for each other
Yeah.
until Logan goes missing and he's brainwashed. So then, he just keeps
Well,
fighting him and
Wolverine,
fighting him.
remember Wolverine tells him,
And
he
then
says, remember Wolverine tells him, he says, I don't want to become one of them puppets, so I want you to promise me that you'll kill me if I do.
yeah. And so yeah, I mean clearly he failed.
Hmm.
But then like, as he's clawing away at his face and he rips the mask off, it's revealed that it's Logan, but then he just fucking bites his throat out.
Yeah.
He just rips his throat out, dude. I was like, dang.
Yeah, I guess he just goes into like a
I was
rage,
like, maybe,
Sabretooth rage, berserker.
yeah. And then, of course, you get the follow up from what's been going on the last couple of issues with Natasha, Black Widow.
Hmm.
She's working with, but he didn't even die though. It seems, like his healing factor kicked in,
Hmm.
so he ravaged him, bro. Just ripped. He just pulled this. He pulled a total Rick Grimes
He
from
did.
the. But it's great. I love it. It's cool. Um, I'm curious to see what their relationship's going to turn into because since it seems like they're going to kind of reverse the brainwashing done to Logan.
Yeah.
Um, Good stuff, dude.
Really
I
good.
wasn't sure about this when it first started. The first couple of issues were a little bit rocky, like 4 5 solid. And that dude, the I just keep thinking about the stinger from last issue. The last page stinger was crazy
Hmm.
because it was Phoenix like posted up with with like
Yeah,
Xavier's brain
dude.
behind her. I was like, dude, I'm like, this is wild.
Yeah, dude.
That might be the craziest thing I think that I've seen that come out of the Ultimate Universe so far.
Yeah, that was nuts because I was like, how does that even work?
Like
What?
they're literally subduing the Phoenix and controlling it just enough to keep the host alive, but then use Xavier's brain to then control her and the Phoenix, but then they're using her power to then empower the brain. It's just like this feedback loop, and it's like how do you beat that?
Yeah.
Because what happens when they finally decide, hey, maybe we really need to use the Phoenix because the Phoenix is also keeping her body from literally atrophying into nothing. So it's keeping her alive and at least somewhat healthy. And all they got to do is up the dosage from good old Xavier Brain, and dude, they have a human nuke on their hands.
Yep. Worse. Yeah. Like,
Dude, it's gonna be so many interesting things that could happen in the Ultimate Universe, but I just don't know when or if we'll even get there.
I know.
It's crazy to think about that. That's something to think about too, is we may not even get like what if it doesn't last that long? That could be crazy.
Yeah, I hope that's not the case because I'm loving this world building they're doing. But not to go in too deep on
Yes.
it,
The
but
world is so
not to go too deep on it, but this was awesome.
yes,
This was
dude.
great. Dude, Dormammu versus Doom was just
Okay. That monologue at the end, like the last like 6 pages where he's like about to lose, but then he like wills himself to like back together.
yeah,
It is so sick,
it's
man.
so Doctor Doom.
Yes.
It's so like, any lesser man would fail, but not Doom. Like,
Yeah, he's like, yes.
It's like,
Any lesser man would like just beg and
yeah,
would plead at ending now, but not me. And
yeah,
I'm like, damn, dude. Shut up. But it was tight. And then he basically the whole dude in the end, the last page where he like Earth's heroes chose Doom. I was like, you're joking me, dude.
yeah,
I was like, all right, man. I said, you got me, dude.
yeah. I can't wait. I can't wait. It's basically
I
like, well, I need the heroes now to beat Dormammu.
right. It
So
was crazy because like it's Dormammu was like the perfect like you're kind of like your middle of the event like curveball
yeah,
because he's been around for a minute. He's been around forever, but him and Doom have been going like back and forth for quite a little while now.
right,
Like you have their situation with Last Annihilation and Guardians and Sword, but then you also have like, Doom's history with magic and how he was the runner up with the Tournament of the Vishanti and like how he was almost Sorcerer Supreme, but because he was only almost Sorcerer Supreme, he didn't truly really know what the tasks were and what the spells were really doing
right.
to uphold those barriers for Earth because and then Doom, of course, is going to play it off like that he knew what the he knew what the responsibility was of the Sorcerer Supreme and what he had to uphold. But I don't think that's the case. It's just Doom being Doom and putting up a front.
Yeah,
It doesn't look bad, but it's fine because it's in character, and it also gave Doom like kind of a moment to like work his way out of a situation he put himself in, just to kind of be like, I am that guy.
yeah,
Like you thought you had me, but you really didn't, and I'm gonna show you why. Which I think, I don't know, like that's the kind of stuff like I think makes Doom interesting.
yeah,
Is he might cause a problem, but then he's gonna like outdo it and fix it, but then do it and like fix it so well that you can't really like bitch about the problem to begin with.
right, right.
So I don't know. I love Doom. Doom is cool, man.
Yeah, I love it's yeah. I just want like a whole Doctor Doom series written by Ryan North at this point.
Why do you
Like,
say that, man?
like that would be great. But
Oh,
yeah,
last one.
last
Ready?
one.
The Battle Beast.
Yeah, tell the
So I got a blind bag.
podcast your story.
So actually, so I have two copies. I have a blind bag, but I also have the cover A. And the blind bag, for those that don't know, is it includes any of the covers, cover A through however many letters they did, any of the incentives, the blank, no store exclusives. There were store exclusives. I don't remember if there were or not, but any of the store like open order variants or incentive variants. We're talking 1 in 10, 1 in 25, 1 in 50, 1 in 100, 1 in 200, 1 in 500, 1 in 1,000, 1 in 2,000. Any of them were able, you could get this in the blind bag, and it's only $3.99. Being said, there were also a couple of other special goodies that were in there too. There were three foil covers. There was the Invincible 19 foil reprint, which is a first appearance of Battle Beast, and then there is the foil reprint for the Marvel Team Up issue of Invincible and Spider-Man. But then there is also a ultra rare foil advanced edition of issue 2 of Invincible Universe Battle Beast. So if some people got lucky and they got the first issue, but then they turned around and were able to get the second issue because as far as I know, that advanced edition is the entire second issue. So
That's
you basically get to double down and read the first few issues on release of the first one.
that's dope.
So it was a cool gig. Some of those books are varying in prices. This kind of made a bit of a splash before it dropped because shops were opening up and spoiling what was in the bags.
See, I had no idea of this. I was just like, oh, I just
Yeah.
want Battle Beast cover
Yeah.
A.
So then, I got myself a blind bag because I figured why not? I'll get just one, see what I get. I should have got two, man,
Yeah.
because, well, I guess it worked out because my brother ended up getting a copy of Battle Beast now because I got a cover A in it.
So you got a cover
Couldn't
A
believe it,
and a
man.
cover A in your blind bag. Lucky you.
Yes, dude. I was so mad, bro. I was so upset. When I
That's
opened it at the shop, and he looked at me and I pulled it out and I was like, it's cover A. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, man." I was like, "Whatever, dude, it's fine."
I could just like hear him like say that to you, like with a smile, like, "Oh, I'm sorry, man."
I was like, "Get out of my face with this, dude. I can't."
That's
I
funny.
was I was pretty bummed, but whatever, you know. I
Yeah,
guess now I can just my brother has an issue of it, so
that's cool.
yeah, it's a pretty good issue, man. I liked it.
I liked it a lot. It's just basically
It
it's just the origin ish, like not even an origin. I don't feel like it's just like
Well, right, because it just kicks off like the last few pages before he teleports away, because he just beats all their asses,
mm,
you know. It's like clearly it's issue 18 or 19 or whatever, because there's that fight in the building with like Titan and Machine Head, all of the villains that he hires, and Battle Beast happens to be one of them. But then he goes back into his ship, he kills all these people, these
yeah,
aliens, and just chewing on him, eating on him. He's stuck here for weeks. So he's like just feral, man. But then you kind of get like, and I totally thought these first few pages were dumb as shit. Like I was like, whatever, dude. These are not. It's not gonna be that good. But it turned out to be really good.
yeah,
We get this like origin of him and how he was like the ruler and like the greatest warrior on his planet. So then he just went to the stars,
hmm
to find any opponent imaginable that could, maybe because he considers this a curse, like his bloodlust, his want for battle and he just wants to be done with it. I guess it's kind of like this double-edged sword where he really wants to keep fighting because he just wants to be the strongest, but he also wouldn't mind if somebody was stronger than him and finally put an end to him.
right.
As he travels, the universe, you get a lot of cool like Otley pages. I think that's kind of really what they just felt like. It was like everybody loves Battle Beast, so let's just let Otley draw a bunch of sick ass pages with Battle Beast in it.
Yeah,
Like the story doesn't even really need to be that crazy. It's just let him draw
that's
the cool shit that he's good at. Like look at this double page spread. Battle Beast
awesome.
on the planet doing
Awesome.
nothing.
Yeah,
Then you got Battle Beast talking to a head in the wall.
yeah,
Only because I mean, I guess the plot here is he boards this shit and the AI doesn't really like him. So because it was fond of the crew that was before him. So he basically says, well, that's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and find you somebody to kick your ass because I want you dead. So let's find somebody that can kill you. So then you have this encounter with this thing, and
yeah.
it turns out that he is
Like a
like an
giant.
ancient creature,
Yeah,
the Colossus of Emsu. He's like the terror of the universe before it was, before the universe is what it is today. So he's like an ancient like being, and then Battle Beast just
yeah,
what
it,
he always does and just beats his ass.
yeah. Destroys.
And it's just page after page after page of their fight. That's all it is. Like it's
Yeah,
just cool Otley art, like headbutts and chokeholds and biting and ripping and tearing and slashing and all that, all the good stuff. He finds then the Battle Beast, of course, comes out on top, but then he finds this like little alien thing that comes out of it,
yeah, yeah.
and
That's
then he just takes him aboard his ship and says, "Hey, I got some lunch, I guess." This little guy here. I don't think he's
yeah,
gonna eat him. I think it's just gonna be one of those things where he's gonna be around for the main series, and maybe he will eat him at the end, and it'll be like funny for us
yeah. He's
because
gonna
like,
be
oh,
just
he
like the
got hidden.
companion character for the
Yeah,
journey.
he's like and then yeah, exactly. Like he's gonna be like a relief character or something, and we're gonna grow attached to him, and then it's just gonna be like, wow, he actually ate him. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
that's how I feel it's gonna go. But
And that's so
yeah, it
Kirkman.
was cool.
That is so Kirkman.
Yeah,
Anyway.
yeah, it was cool. I liked it. I'm looking forward to the next issue. I uh I really hope that this whole situation with the blind bags does not incentivize Image to keep doing it because
Yeah.
I don't know that
It
I
seems
care
like it was
enough
just like
about
a
blind.
Kirkman probably idea and
Right, as like a way to celebrate like the return to the Invincible universe because it's like this. I mean, it's huge now.
yeah. And it,
You
it
know,
does feel like I
not
felt like when I read it, I was like, oh man, we're so back. Like we are back.
yeah.
So
No, I definitely agree. I think this is a strong first issue. I think if it sells well enough, I could see Kirkman kind of dipping his toes back into the Invincible universe, like now and again.
Yeah.
But it just remains to be seen because we're really not even that deep into the Energon universe, I feel. But I
Right.
guess on the flip side, when you consider you've got 6 issues of G.I. Joe, you've got 20 issues across Duke, Destro, Cobra Commander, and Scarlet. So that's 26 G.I. Joe related issues. That's not including the two Energon Universe specials. So that's 28. Then you've got 20 Transformers issues, which makes it 48. And then you
Right.
got all the Void Rivals, which is 18, I think now.
Hmm.
So you've got over 50 issues of like total of this Energon Universe stuff. And we're really not even scratching the surface, I don't think. So
Right.
if this thing goes long term, I could see it easily hitting. I think if you're like doing this like cohesive universe and maybe with like a definitive beginning, middle, end, a 200 issue or 250 issue like complete run between all of the titles. I don't think that's unrealistic because
Right.
we're already about to hit the 50 mark and none of these books are even close to 50 issues each.
It's true.
So if you have 50 issues of G.I. Joe, 50 issues of Transformers, 50 issues of Void Rivals. I mean, Void Rivals has come a long way and it's only 18 issues in. So that 50 could be the kind of like the stopping point. And this is all like obviously speculation and spitballing. But if Kirkman is not going to be doing this long term and has other projects in mind for the future, then I mean at least make it like a fairly solid number so there's enough content to get through.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like make it like worth the read, I guess.
I think it's gonna be pretty ongoing, dude. It's gonna be part of this universe that he got for Skybound. So I think he's just stoked to
Do
like
you
have
okay?
that to play with.
Do you think it'll run longer as long as Invincible?
If it's
Seeing as he's
it's
only
as
doing
successful, if
he
it's as successful, yeah.
I don't but like I mean Invincible wasn't even I would argue that when Invincible started, it was not such a good start as Void Rivals was because Void Rivals sold hella issues, bro.
Right.
I mean, it went through 10 printings. Like, I mean, I know like the market's different now,
Mhm.
but it went through, it might even have more now. It might even have 11 or 12 printings.
Yeah.
But like, I would like it to. Like, there's a lot of interesting, like, non-Marvel DC universes that are going right now. You've got Energon Universe, you've got Mad or Ghost Machine, you've got Black Hammer, you've got Astro City, you've got like the Remender stuff, some of that's loosely connected. Uh you've got the Massive Verse,
Yeah.
you've got Mike Mignola's universe, there's so many options out there for shared universe content. Like, like shit, man, like you have Star Wars. There's so many Star Wars titles, and
Right.
that's Marvel, but it's not Marvel. You've got like the Magic the Gathering now has an pretty extensive library of comics. Like there's so many Power Rangers. Like there are so many, dude. Like the Dynamite books are a lot of them are crossing over. Like you have Thundercats, Powerpuff Girls. You've got Space Ghosts and Johnny Quest. Like there are so many like things that are like just bigger, part of like larger universes nowadays. You almost can't escape it,
Yeah.
which is cool. I mean, and then you've got universes within universes like at Marvel and DC. You've got your main Marvel universe, and then you've got your Ultimate Universe, and then DC and Absolute, and then you've got your all their smaller universes that come 2099.
Right.
Like, what it doesn't matter how small or big it is, it's kind of a cool. I guess when you look at comics from that perspective, it's nice to see that you can kind of dip your toes into any area of comics and not just only get to read one title. Like there are a lot of other things that are like ancillary or like just spin-offs and tie-ins to the main stuff that you're reading that can turn out to be pretty good.
I agree.
All right, for the end. Because I don't know. It's nice just like I guess when you have a return to a universe that's really kind of beloved now, it's cool to kind of think about how, all of these things. And maybe this will be a big resurgence for some of the other indie books.
Hmm.
I don't know. cool. Could be some cool stuff, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you got like, well, shit, you got Spawn too. Spawn's another one, which I guess technically is still kind of invincible, but at the same time, he exists. He has his own line of books now.
Yeah,
Like, there's probably like there's over 10 Spawn books,
yeah.
like right now. So it's like crazy to think that like as time goes on, like the comics is just going to turn into this like shared
They're
universe.
having like a Spider-Verse spawn thing happening right now where like all the spawns are together and
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like all of these shared universes are crazy, dude.
Mhm.
I like it though. It's cool. It's just another way to enjoy comics, I guess.
It's
When you
it's
look at
it's
it,
almost like people are getting into very long-term storytelling, and
I
that's
yes, dude, and it would be great to see that circle back around into long form storytelling.
Mhm.
I would love that
I
because
agree.
I miss that, dude. Like most people don't have like I don't want to say most people because that's kind of like ingenuine. Like I'm not being genuine when I say that, but like it seems like there's a pretty significant percentage of people that don't really want to have to focus on something long term, like and commit to like years of reading something.
Yeah, but
So
I don't
I
know.
don't know if
I feel like it's
if we're kind of turning face back to that. I like it. I'm about it.
because it's like, look at like Saga, for example. It's like
Oh, dude,
it's always something to look forward to. It's always, to like know
dude,
that
you
it's
got to catch up,
going,
bro. We're
keep going.
72 issues, man.
Yeah. And to know you got like 36 more issues, you know?
Don't say that to me. It's gonna be forever though, dude. It's gonna be like 6 years.
Yeah.
They're only doing 6 issues a year right now.
Oh my God.
It's driving me nuts, dude.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah. At least you
it's
weren't
like
following it in a
seasons,
4-year hiatus. So
dude. Hey, I was in Berserk during the big hiatus, bro. Like we the Saga hiatus was a little bit different because there was like years where nothing came out because it was after 54, right?
yeah. And I just thought it like ended and they were like, oh, it's coming back. And I was like,
Dude,
oh,
dude, if it would have ended like that, I don't know,
I,
dude.
I, I gave up on it. And then they were like, yeah, it's coming back. Oh,
But yeah, dude, like yeah, so I guess that is a little bit different, but like the hiatus for Berserk, I mean there's so many of them, dude, like because Mira was just taking breaks and doing other stuff, but we were just dicking around in the Sea God arc and we were like stuck on the boat for like 7 years, dude.
mhm.
Because it was like one chapter this year, four chapters the next year, two chapters the year after that, eight chapters the next year. And it was so sporadic. I remember there were times where we got double chapters like on months, and I was like, great. But also, how long do I have to wait for the next one now because you doubled up on me this time?
Mhm.
So I was like, dude, that was stressful. And even now, like, there's no release, like consistent release schedule for Berserk right now. Anyway,
Right. That sucks.
we're getting a chapter in June, but
That sucks.
we might be speeding towards the end of that here soon too,
Oh, okay.
because we're at like 380
Jesus.
right now.
Okay.
So I think maybe I don't know. My brain just says tap out with a round number. Hit 400 chapters, call it a day.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing: is like 20 chapters. Not to spoil too much of it, but where they're at right now, there's not a whole lot left you can do other than just beat the shit out of the bad guy.
Oh, okay.
Like that's really where we're at. Like it's just like all of the important good guys that needed to meet up are now together,
Hmm.
and you have the hero who's at like his absolute lowest. So what other thing to do other than to rally the troops and get him back on board to take the fight to the bad guy?
Right.
Like that's where we're at. Like I think that's like where I think we're really approaching the climax,
Okay.
which is fine. I not that I'm ready to be done, but also it's like I want to see the end because Mira's not alive anymore, and I just kind of want to be there.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like I mean, and the artist, it's phenomenal. Like I don't feel like the quality has gone down, but it's also like you know what I mean. Like it's
Yeah.
probably like how you feel about Super.
Yeah.
You know, like now that is it Toyotaro?
Mhm.
Now that he's like fully in charge and writing everything, and Toriyama's gone. like I'm sure it's probably kind of like similar for you, is like it doesn't feel like the quality has gone down, but it's just not the same.
Yeah.
So
I
like,
I
yeah,
feel more confident in him than Toei doing stuff for like the anime, but
that's fair.
yeah.
That's fair. But like you, but like kind of like same deal. Like the guy that created like created the world is no longer here to tell that story. So we have to get it through like the lens of the person, like the people that he trusted
Understudy.
most.
His understudy was Toyotaro, so
Yeah, I mean, which is exactly what happened with Mira. Like the whole situation with Koji Mori taking over for him is because they've been best friends forever, and he told Koji Mori like this is what the ending is. They left the like we don't know a whole lot because Mira was very private. What we do know is that he left a pretty detailed outline of where he was at to the end of the series, key points, and it went from him doing the story and art forever to then he finally hired a few people, Studio Gaga, but he hired them to go ahead and help him do the art, and he trained them up, and it looks phenomenal. But
yeah.
like kind of a similar situation with Toriyama, like he ended up because they ended up hiring because they hired a crew too, right?
No,
Or was it just Toyotaro doing it?
the manga is just Toyotaro and
Okay, well, I mean, still, right. But like the
but the anime.
Dragon Ball's art is nowhere nearly as detailed as Berserk's either, too,
And
Like
it's
the
all black and it's always black and white and
yeah,
it's
and like well, I mean, Berserk is too, but it's so detailed, like everything is so finely detailed. Like even the smallest little things are like hatched. It's crazy. Like there's so much detail in all the art in that book. But it's like so I understand why it took so long for Miura to do it, but it was just him, so it was just like banging every single time. You can tell the art is emulated now, and the story is just we're getting to the end and doesn't have the same feel, but it's still good.
yeah.
So I guess with Super, it's different because you have like there is no end really. Like you can kind of just keep going because the guy in charge is like who
Oh no,
Toy
Toyotaro said that the next arc that he's writing is the end. It's gonna be the end.
the end.
It's gonna for Super. For Super,
Okay. Do you
not
think
for
they'll
Dragon
continue
Ball.
on after that?
I don't know if he's going to be doing anything more after that, but he's basically in charge of ending Super for the manga.
Okay.
And
But
basically he said it's the Black Frieza arc, so we're going to go there. So,
that's cool though. I
yeah.
mean, it'd be a cool way to finish things off, I guess.
Yeah, what I'm hoping for is that they go into like, Frieza's threats from the Tournament of Power where he was like, I'm going to go after Zeno and I'm going to become the king of all,
Yes.
blah, blah. And go he's probably going to go after the Super Dragon Balls and it's probably going to be this epic. It's going to be I feel like Toyotaro at this point just has to go all out, go
Yeah. No, I
for
can see that
Dragon
making sense.
Balls, bring in all the other universes, like
Do you
like
know, did he give any indication on how many issues it would be
no,
or
no.
how many
He just
chapters it
said
would be?
he's just said he's been hard at work on it.
I mean, dude, let him cook, bro.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about this. Like if we are in the home stretch for Berserk, just give me like 20 dude, give me like 20 to 30 issues of just straight gas.
Yeah.
Like give me every payoff that I didn't wait 30 years. I didn't. But the book's been around for 30 plus years. So if you've been reading this book for 30 plus years, this ending needs to be tight. It needs to be cohesive. It needs to have every single payoff from every piece of shit thing that's happened to these characters over the course of this book. And it, and if not, at least give me an ending where it's not like absolutely miserable because that's the only other option. Like it's either they win and it's a great ending, or two, they just kind of have to like, Guts maybe has to let go of his revenge thing, and something else puts an end to Griffith, and that's the end of it, and he can finally be at peace because he finally like reconciled that this is not the way for him anymore. I could be okay with that because it's finally given my guy who's had an entire life of trouble and grief, it finally gives him a break at the end. Like he finally gets his peace.
Yeah.
I just don't want it to be like a situation where he dies or he has to watch Casca do whatever Griffith's gonna do. Like, I just don't want to do that.
Mhm. I feel you.
So, like, whatever happens, happens. But also, it's like I didn't read 400 chapters of this shit for nothing.
Well, at this point for me, Super's manga is like the only way I can enjoy Dragon Ball at this point because I don't really like the Super anime. I'm not a fan of Daima.
Time is good, dude.
I still haven't watched it.
It's good. I like
I
it.
just refuse to the principle of
I know, I know, I
it.
know you do. I liked it. I really enjoyed it.
Speaking of, PlayStation Plus has that Akira Toriyama game that's up there. The that sand whatever, the sand game, whatever. What's it called? The sandbox or something like that. Do you know what I'm talking about? All right. Well, we had some technical difficulties there, guys. We'll see if Jeremy comes back. Doubt it. But anyways, that was pretty much it for us anyways. So have a good night, guys. Stay healthy, stay safe. Love y'all.